You know, I was just thinking like, I've always been like a fanboy if it comes to PlayStation 2, and I, s- I basically sold my entire collection of games, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. I never went beyond that. I think the only things I did was Xbox One, then I made a shift. I didn't continue playing PlayStation. And, you know, after selling my entire collection, after selling all my collectibles and anything that had to do with gaming, actually just selling my entire gaming room, I just I just came to realization. I was like, you know, there are a couple of games on PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 that I can play, and that's fine. You know, I just need one console, a PlayStation 2 console. But then I was thinking there were a couple of PlayStation 3 games, just like The Last of Us, that I can't play on PlayStation 2. So I was like, okay, what model of PlayStation 3 is suitable and compatible with all three, disc types, right? Yeah, you get a 20 gigabyte or the 46 60 gigabyte PlayStation 3 model that can play all of them, but the only downside is that the overheating, and it also has like this problematic as the ring of death, just like with the Xbox 360, and something similar in that trend. So I was like, okay, they have a lot of issues, so the slim version should be better. And then, yeah, I just decided to get myself a slim version again. And I like, personally, I like this model more. It's you can see the, what model type it is. But what I like about this model in general is that I like the layer, like the casing, you know what I mean, like the outward layer, because it reminds me a lot of the PlayStation 2. It's kind of the same, it's like the charcoal black. And I also prefer that the discs can be inserted like with a disc tray, but then because then it's the laser that is spinning and not the disc. Because personally, when they came out with the ultra slim version, I didn't really like it because the slide system, they went back to the PlayStation 1 mechanism where you have to press it on, what can damage the discs. And I just didn't like that the disc had to spin instead of the laser. They say these models last longer, they're more durable, and that's true, but it's more wear and tear on the hardware, on the discs. And I wasn't really feeling it. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go. I ordered that model as well. I ordered the ultra slim and the slim version, the 500 gigabyte. I think both of them are 500 gigabyte. But the point was, like, I was thinking about, I want to play PlayStation 2 games, I want to play PlayStation 3 games, and I want to play in general games that aren't necessary to be played with an internet connection. Because, when I'm gonna move, I'm gonna be more rural, up the mountains, and yeah, I'm gonna have Wi-Fi, but I want to be able to play on offline as well. I don't want to, because first I was so convinced if I just sell all my hardware, if I sell all my software, anything that has to do with physical tech and physical media, if it comes to games, I was like, if I just sell everything, then I can just buy everything on Steam, or I can emulate or whatever, and then I just need a gaming PC or laptop and that's it. But then I was thinking, but if there is like a blackout or a shortage or power shortage, or anything of that kind, let's say anything that has to do with an internet connection or a stable internet connection, then at least I can play PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3, because there is no need for internet. And I was like, I just always enjoyed the days where I could just play a game without all the hassle, of having an account or whatever. And I don't mind like a cable. I actually prefer that. It's more durable. Look at the PlayStation 2 controllers. Using them on a PlayStation 3 is way more durable than having the PlayStation 3 controllers that are, like Bluetooth operated, right? And I was like, I prefer a combination of a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 3. And the original models of PlayStation 3 actually fulfill that need. But it's very difficult to come across a model that actually works. Look, this one. So I bought this one for 27 euros, so that's a steal. And it came from Sweden, but it doesn't work anymore, and it was actually decent, you know what I mean? But it's really heavy. It's like a couple of bricks in a bag, in a McDonald's Happy Meal bag. and this one is way lighter, but I like this one outwardly. I prefer that one, but this one is a 20 gig or the 40 gig, and it has the benefit of playing all 3 games, you know, and that's why I really was hoping for this one, but I didn't get any controllers with it, so that's a shame. Because my goal was to have all the controllers in black, in charcoal black or jet black from PlayStation 1 until PlayStation 5 to like put on display for the, just because I like the aesthetics, to see the transformation process. But the thing I never ever want to do again was buy all different type of consoles. You know, I saw some videos, actually podcast episodes, talk about the problematic with let's say all the colors, you know, like, you know what I mean, all the different colors. I'm not gonna use the name, the wording, but all the different color types. And you know, like when you have like crayons or like paint, you know, ink, and their needs and their demands and these gaming industries, you know, playing into it, right, with characters and storylines or whatever. And it's because they can all change these things constantly because of the servers and because of the, you know, the mods and stuff like that. You know, they can add things up that you have to download, and then it changes everything. While you don't have these things with games on discs, that it's kind of like if you have a book that's written, you know, so that's the version you have, that's what you stick to, nothing can be altered and changed. But you have, if it's something that's online, it can constantly be adjusted to whatever is expected or what needs to be changed, you know. That's the whole point, like updates, a DLC and stuff, but not because you want to, because they force it. And people are like, okay, you know, they want to go back to old school gaming. So I noticed that there was a decline in physical media, buying it, you know, retro gaming, like games that were like 80 euros became like 20 euros, games that used to be collectibles or more mainstream, you know, like things going for 20 euros instead of triple. And now, because of the whole transformation process within the gaming industry, a lot of young men in general, and even women, prefer to go back to old school gaming. And it doesn't have to do with retro gaming, but just in general, because they want stable characters that are, you know, fulfilling what they want. You know what I mean? Like characters that actually match whatever is expected, you know. And it doesn't matter what type of characters, but it's just something. Like if you play Medal of Honor, if you play Call of Duty, if you play Warcraft, if you play Starcraft, if you play, you know, any game where there are specific type of characters with personalities and attached to it and a background, you know, like it's essential that they stick to it, that it doesn't get washed and changed and diluted. And because all the, you know, politics and whatever, I don't want to use the word, but gets put into it, it spoils it for a lot of people because they don't want to be bothered by that. Gaming should be, you know, separated from, you know, politics, right, and society in general, whatever the demands are. And I was like, yeah, I have the same thing. Like I like playing The Last of Us because of the relationship between Joel and Ellie. You know, a father finding his daughter back in a child that is in need of a father figure that isn't biologically his, and everything they experience together to survive. So, and the same thing is with Resident Evil. You know, I want Leon to be Leon, you know, male leading character, you know, with his traits that form masculinity. I want Ada Wong to be feminine. I don't want something in between or a mixed or, you know, the opposites. Same goes with Silent Hill. You know, imagine that they would have changed the main character of Silent Hill 2, what is his name again, the Sunderland guy, right? Like, what if they would have switched it up, like that he was in a, you know, male and male relationship, so Mary or Maria didn't exist and it was actually a guy or something. I mean, these things, even if it's to justify the current state of society and how they want it to be, it would upset a lot of people that want to remain true to the origin, want to remain true to the original. And that's also how I feel personally about it. If, like, when they brought out the series of The Last of Us, I couldn't be bothered with watching just because of Ellie and what Ellie embodies, not because of the video game, well, also because of the video game afterwards, but something you didn't know at the beginning. But in general, just the person embodies something that is disconnected from, you know, playing these sports, you know, if you talk about biology. And then all of a sudden I have to see that as a part of that character as well, as, you know, as the role. And I just feel, I didn't feel comfortable, you know, it's not something I'm interested in personally. I don't care about these things, I'm not interested, you know, being aware and knowing that something exists is one thing, keeping it in mind. That's the most respect you can muster from a person to another person. But the moment that also becomes a part of your life and reality and everyday thinking, that's where I draw the line. Like, look, I'm not interested, I don't need to know these things. These things don't add or make the story better or more relevant and interesting. So I was like, I can't watch this series, I don't care about that series, it spoiled everything for me. So for me, it's The Last of Us Part 1, not Part 2, no DLCs, nothing beyond that, just Part 1, and preferably the one on PlayStation 3. And I also like the remaster or the remake on PlayStation 4 as well because of the quality, but everything that went beyond that, it's too much for me, it's too much, and these things start dragging on, you know, and a lot of people are getting sick and upset with it. And I'm also seeing myself in that situation that I can't do it anymore. I just want a box filled with physical media, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. I don't want anything else unless it's like a franchise and it does match and it does have relevancy to the game, like the Evil Within 1 and Evil Within 2. Like these I have on Steam because I can't find Part 2 doesn't exist on for PlayStation 3, you know. So I can only have Part 1. But Part 1 is my favorite. Part 2 I didn't even like. Part 1, like these things are important, you know. And I mean, I enjoy RPGs on PC. There are some games I like on Steam to have on Steam. I'm not planning, well, I wanted to go for a gaming laptop, but I think I'm changing my mind because I'm going back to, like, it's just unbelievable. I've been collecting and hoarding physical media and consoles since 2016 until 2024, but actually 2018 was kind of like the peak, and then all the years afterwards it slimmed down. But the point is, for several years I collected and hoarded physical media. I filled in an entire room and I sold everything, and with that money I bought my house, by the way. So it was worth it because it tripled in value, a lot of games, and because they were like in mint and super mint condition. But anyways, regardless of that, so the thing is with this story that I do feel with everything going on and happening, and I also assume, and I think you as well would understand that, is that there is a need for like a limit to certain things, you know, when people want to involve and incorporate stuff that isn't necessary. And if you want to rebel against it, if you want to like say like, okay, I draw the line here, I don't want to participate because I don't care about it, sorry, then you need old school physical media, whether it's movies, DVDs or VHS, whether it's, you know, just having physical media like games, like these things, they're set, they cannot be altered and changed. And if it's from a time period that suits your needs and your point of view and how you see life and how you feel comfortable and happy, then that is the best way to go. They can't change it, they can't steal it, they can't take away these things, and that's for you to enjoy, that's for you, it's for life to enjoy in a healthy way, right? And you can still do co-op offline and all that stuff if you feel like it. You can still have, like, how many hours I played Resident Evil 5 Mercenaries back in the days. Was, you know, with my ex, you know, we used to play it for many hours, and it was very enjoyable, and you didn't need any internet, and it was already an old game by modern standards. And I mean, just using that as an example to say, like, you don't need to be online, don't have to play online. You can do it like that as well. Like, there are other games like Lynch. What was it called again? Like the dogs, Lynch, Kane and Lynch. Very good game to co-op offline. What else? There were a couple of games that were offline that were really fun. Army of Two, very fun. You know, most of them were shooters, but in general, you know, like even RPGs, you could play a lot of Baldur's Gate games, and Diablo games you could play on PlayStation offline, co-op together, split screen, or even not even split screen was not even the case every single time, and it was really nice, you know. These things I enjoyed way more, and like I said, I need a backup. For me, it's like a backup. So if I can't play my games online through emulation or Steam, then I have to have a physical media library, you know, but not too much, because there is a difference between, okay, there are a handful of games I love playing, I can always pick up at any time, and having thousands of games that you're never gonna touch ever, just have them on display. And I just wanted to make this video. I don't know if anybody's gonna watch it, but I just want to know, with all the people that have man caves and all the people that still are in gaming and all the people that are, you know, being updated constantly about what is changing in the gaming industry, and I just wanted to share my opinion, and I wanted to see if other people would think the same, you know, what is their opinion. Is it a wise idea to shift back to physical media and consoles just for that reason? Or is it just for people that like to collect? Or you know, I don't know, like for me it's just, I don't perceive myself as I see myself as an ex-gamer actually, but I felt the need to have a little backup, like just one box, bare minimum, and that's it, because I want to be minimalistic in my lifestyle and in whatever I have, materialistic wise. But this is something like, you know, PlayStation 3 went even up in price, so there seems to be a revival again, and it seems to go back and forth, but whatever happens and changes motivates people to look for an alternative. And for me, I found my alternative, so I hope you can manage to, and there is an alternative for you as well. And yeah, let's see where it goes from there on. But I strongly encourage people to just get the games they love. They can play whenever they feel like playing. You don't have to be a fanatic, but the point is that have something ready available, you know, whether it's Nintendo, whether it's PlayStation, whether it's Microsoft, it doesn't matter. The point is you have something and you can put it in a box and you can take it out whenever you feel like it, and not be reliant on our sources to give you that time of the day so you can game. And that's it. See you next time.